This is Public Access, the Skinny Jeans Edition Playtest Part 2. Let's do some recapping. It's been a couple weeks since we played, a few weeks since we played. And what we did in the first session was we introduced this idea of the Skinny Jeans edition of the game, and we made characters, we introduced them, and we started playing. You have one active mystery right now, the house in Escondido Street, and your question here is what happened to the Rappaports, this family that disappeared 10 years ago from just seemingly from the face of the earth, and they kind of left the house as it was when they disappeared. You have found four clues for this mystery. I'll just review them. Elliot Rappaport had a Candyland board with strange characters that shouldn't exist, and there was also information about him having access to all kinds of weird things are not like researchable or didn't seem to exist. The Rappaports were apparently in a lot of debt. There is a chess game in the living room being played by itself, and at one point, Steve woke up from a hallucination while watching the Odyssey tape and found a hastily scrawled phone number on a piece of paper next to him. And so that's what we know about the house in Escondido Street. Speaking of Odyssey tapes, you have watched Affirmations '04, and you've determined you have come up with a clue. You have a clue for the TV Odyssey mystery from that tape, which is it's kind of within a cryptic. We have a cryptic phrase of building a better nest. We saw that the host of Affirmations '04 was seemingly inhabited by insects, and we also saw some other insects appearing at a spaghetti dinner, which was kind of weird at the same time. And so we think there's something to do with nests and insects going on with TV Odyssey at this point. So you have one Odyssey clue. Taking a look at our latchkeys, right now, Katie, you have a quote as a condition. It told me you were coming. It seems your mother, who lives in Playa Morado, which is not important yet, but could be important for people who know public access. It is definitely important. Um, and she is something's talking to her. So that's the thing that's going on. Steve, you don't have any conditions somehow. But Michael, you have annoyed, haunted, and the darkness. So perhaps a reflection of the fact that you were the only latchkey that went to Escondido Street in investigating 18 Escondido Street and the evil that lives there. I don't think I have anything else for recap to say, except that it's going to be a day phase, and we are going to be kicking off with the Key of the Child again because we've transitioned to a new layer of the campaign. Does anybody have any questions before that? In that case, we will begin by having each of you mark another Key of the Child and introduce your character for this session via flashback once again. Whoever wants to go first, tell me which key you've marked and begin your narration.
I'll go first. So Steve Knudsen, as a reminder, is from the Great White North of Minnesota. And I have marked a flashback showing your latchkey kid routine whenever you got home from school. We see the pristine white snowfields of relatively like rural, almost Fargo-esque houses on the outskirts of a Minnesotan community, long stretch of road hemmed in by chicken wire post fencing that just is an expanse of empty white, occasionally dotted with houses and farmsteads near the tree line. We see in a true like Napoleon Dynamite kind of shot, just like a bus rolling across this empty expanse, a school bus, and eventually parking out front of a little four-way crossroad intersection and letting off, three or four kids, one of them being a young-ish Steve Knudsen, who begins to trudge his way through the snows towards his house. We then cut back almost simultaneously to a desert expanse, no more this snowfield, and a adequately younger, but not by much, version of Steve Knudsen is now walking up the road to a more rural on the outskirts of Deep Lake homestead. We do this a few times, seeing a version rendered in snow and a version rendered in sand, as he approaches a pretty unremarkable, house. Probably has existed since like the 50s, nothing that's particularly old. But he walks around the back, opens up the screen door with his key, steps in through the little mud room to the kitchen, and after setting down book bags, taking off his shoes, you see that he first goes into the laundry room, makes sure that he replaces the kitty litter, for there are many cats in the homestead. um, takes out the trash, goes and gets all of his like homework put out, goes and seemingly runs down a checklist of just various little preparatory things before, after about an hour or so has passed, is just standing in the middle of his house, like looking around, flicking through item after item, just making sure he did everything. And then he nods to the homework, nods to the chores that are completed, walks over to the couch, and just begins to sit down and puts on the TV and watches it for about 30 or so minutes, maybe 45 on a good day. And then tries to discipline himself, gets up, does his homework, and then maybe remembers to uh put the casserole dish in the fridge out to uh reach room temperature a little bit before doing additional heating.
Thank you.
I will do a flashback to when you first discovered TV Odyssey. We see Katie's house again, just like in the last flashback. She is sitting on the couch, staring at the TV. There's a lot of hustle and bustle around her. There are cops, there are family members. People are very morose and sad. There's flyers depicting missing children, Katie's twin siblings. People are sort of whispering in hushed voices so Katie doesn't overhear. We hear one of these whispers. Well, Teresa says it's Katie's fault they've gone missing. She was the last one to see them. Katie just blinks, stares at the TV. A mascot, smiling and cheerful, is leading a parade of children around a room. And strangely, two of those children look very, very familiar.
I have marked the key of the child, a flashback showing your latchkey kid routine whenever you got home from school. We see Michael just walking down the road. We only really see like the sort of like his feet, sort of a point of view type of a look. Uh, we see him go to off to the side of his house towards the hose, sort of rinsing off like the dirt that is on his arms and his legs. Uh, Sort of before heading inside, there is no one there. He gets to the kitchen, sits at the table, sort of not getting out his homework quite yet, but he knows that he has to do it eventually, at least before they get home. Otherwise, they would sort of accuse him of just being lazy, about not getting things done appropriately, and just force him to just stay there even longer. Quite literally, tie him down to the chair to like just to make a point of it. But eventually he does bring it out after he gets over himself. At least that's what he thinks.
Very well. We begin every day phase with the introduction of a new mystery, if there are less than 3 active mysteries, and there are. So you will have a second mystery in addition to the house in Escondido Street that has revealed itself to you. This one is called the Deep Lake Lurker. For the working families of Deep Lake, summer means tourist money and sending kids to Pine Rock Ridge, a sleepaway camp on the other side of the lake. Generations of children gossiped in its wooden cabins and roasted s'mores over campfires, you all included. In 1993, however, 12-year-old Jessica Stosky disappeared while out swimming. She was the 4th camper who had gone missing in as many years, the others being Johnny Green Jr., Carlos Sanchez, and Elizabeth Lizzie Lewis. Like them, her body was never found. Pine Rock Ridge was forced to shut down after the incident, sued into financial oblivion by Jessica's father, Harvey Stosky. The cold case of the Pine Rock Ridge campers is now more myth than tragedy, especially among elementary school students. Every year, children pass down the tale of Jessica Stosky drowned by the Deep Lake Lurker. Some claim it's Deep Lake's own Loch Ness monster. Others say the lurker is the previous victim, bound to the lake until they pull another victim to the bottom. The children's tale gained traction in conspiracy theory circles when Pine Rock Ridge recently opened back up under new management, and it gained the attention of the Latchkeys when camp counselor Emily Beaumont stopped by the house on Rodenbecker Street, asking them to look into the disappearance of her former best friend. I'm going to pose the following to Katie. Katie, you know the lurker is real because you were almost drowned by it, though you didn't get a good look. Why are you still alive?
In the summer after my siblings disappeared, my parents hadn't split up yet, and sick of looking at me, they sent me off to sleepaway camp for the summer, which was just as well. Getting some fresh air. That's sort of where I started getting into sports and winning. I won most of the contests and most of the medals that year at camp. But the one that really stuck with me was when we had to swim to a midway point in the lake and back to shore. It was a race, and I was determined to win. I practiced and practiced, making sure I could beat my time every single time. The night before the race, I wanted to get in one last test, one last try. I snuck out of my cabin, down to the dock, set my timer, and jumped in. I'd reached the halfway point, tagged the buoy, started making my way back when something grabbed, not just brushed my ankle, but grabbed and pulled. I took in a chunk of air as I managed to take in a chunk of air before I slipped down into the water. The water is murky and dark in the night. You can't see anything. I looked, there was nothing. It was mud and debris kicked up. But then I could see a shape, large. Couldn't make out what it was. I kicked and kicked as hard as I could. And it let me go. And I made it back to shore, back to the cabin. Convinced myself it must have been a dream. The next morning I won. Ended up forgetting all about it until I heard from Emily Beaumont, and it all came rushing back.
Indeed, Emily Beaumont came to 26 Rodenbecker Street the very next morning after the events of last night, after the uh, somewhat unsettling pizza or spaghetti dinner at Mom's house, and after I've already forgotten. Oh, and just watching the Odyssey tape, right? And the rather upsetting events of the Odyssey tape. To say nothing of yesterday afternoon's events in the kitchen of 18 Escondido Street in the pantry and what was seen there. You all might want a moment to discuss, decompress, rationalize some of these things that are going on. We do that with the nostalgic move. So this changed in the Skinny Jeans edition. Previously, these were one-on-one scenes where one character was talking about something that takes you back from your character sheet. And you have a little vulnerable moment with each other, you reminisce, you get nostalgic, and then you try to clear a condition based off how the scene goes, whatever you talk about or whatever you do in the scene. The nostalgic move in Skinny Jeans edition does not, the scene can involve any number of latchkeys, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about with regards to Takes You Back, as long as stuff is being talked about in a nostalgic way from Takes You Back, it doesn't matter whose it is. You all can clear one condition, and you get to collectively define a clue if you have the scene together or whatever number of latchkeys are taking part in it. You can only participate in one nostalgic move per phase. So that's something you might want to do at the beginning of this day phase. Otherwise, I'm going to go around the table and see what everyone's interested in doing as far as these now 2 mysteries that you have to look into. Steve, thoughts?
Yeah, since Steve doesn't have any conditions, he'll be present in the background of any nostalgic moves. Mostly when like Steve is up this morning, he is gonna be, the way I picture it is like the kitchen of our house has one of those like wall-mounted like cord phones. And so he's gonna be just kind of in the background. He's gonna call that number that was scrawled, that he like found, like it's a little unsettling, and so he wants to see what happens if he dials it.
Yeah, I think that would be a normal thing to sort of do, right?
Mhm.
So there's a couple of ways we can handle this.
Mhm.
One, I think that clue can just be something that you can give meaning to
Mhm.
based off like whenever, like you can give it meaning now, or if you want to trigger a meddling move, we can trigger a meddling move and maybe get something different out of it. But that's my thinking on it right now as far as that goes. It is currently just a clue without context at the moment. But I like that. That's really good. Katie, what are your thoughts for today?
I would like to do a nostalgia move. I do have a condition, but I know that Michael has many more.
Michael has quite a few. Michael, are you aiming for a nostalgic move as well?
Before we get to like saying what I'm going to do, I do have a move that immediately triggers at the beginning of the session.
Oh yeah, what
Uh,
is it?
the truth is out there.
Oh yeah, you get a clue,
Uh,
right?
yeah, at the beginning of the session, you a mysterious benefactor leaves something for you where you can find it, say what it is, or ask the keeper to say what it is. It functions as a clue, but isn't attached to any particular mystery.
Oh
You
yeah.
can use it for an active mystery or save it for future. Um, I think just to like start off like this sort of day phase, like Michael goes to like check the sort of mail effectively because like he did like switch his address over to uh uh I don't know what the address is.
26 Rodenbecker.
26 Rodebecker, and I think he has received an envelope. It's rather nondescript. It just really says Michael on the top on it. No return address or anything of that nature. But when he opens it up, it's inside. It's sort of like you see like those bad like ransom notes in like movies and whatnot with a cut up like magazine like lettering and whatnot. It says, "I know what you did."
Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, so that's a free-floating clue. Track
Mhm.
that wherever you need to. That sounds good. Are you down with this nostalgic move?
Yes.
I just need whoever's participating in the move to frame up the scene and at some point talk about something that takes you back or do something that takes you back.
There we go. Katie has brought downstairs to the kitchen a banker's box. It's one of those banker's box with the attached lid, and she flips it open. It was given to her by her mom the night before. Just some bits and bobs that she had when she left, before she left the area and moved out to Oregon with her father, she pulls out a whole stack of medals, just running, swimming, high vault, everything you could think of. And on the top is the medal from the camp, the medal that she won that day swimming in the lake. Strange that it's right there. And she looks up at Michael. Did you ever go to summer camp, Michael?
Oh, they did try to send me to summer camp. It was once because it was just a bit of a too far of excursion. Like they didn't want me to go to any camps that had lakes in them. So like Deep Lake was just not going to happen.
Yeah, you do seem to be more like a computer camp kind of guy.
Yeah, they did send me to computer camp. Just I don't think my parents actually quite know what I do for a living. I've tried to explain it to them, but it's just
I went to camp once, just the once, but it was a really nice time. I wonder, well, do you remember back when summer vacations just seemed like so carefree and so long? Like every single day was an adventure. You'd wake up and have nothing to do but have fun.
like, like I really like. Was there really a difference between summer and just like after school stuff?
Well,
Like, maybe you just get to sleep in, I guess.
maybe for some reason it felt different to me. Even now, I don't work in the summers, but I don't feel as carefree as I did as a kid.
Uh, uh, but yeah, but your mom, she's certainly something.
Yes, I didn't know about the boyfriend. Sorry for that surprise.
Well, it makes sense. I think it was just more awkward that you didn't know.
Well, we don't really talk, my mom and I. It's been a few years. But I thought I would be the bigger person and go say hi. And maybe I should have just said no when I got invited to dinner.
Like, I don't know, like your mom seems all right. Like 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 she seems a little bit like eccentric, like just the sort of like, oh, I gotta feed everyone, I gotta make sure everything's right, uh, uh, that sort of thing.
Steve pokes his head into the room and just says, "Hey, are these leftovers in the fridge for the whole house or just you two?"
Have at it, Steve. I
Spaghetti
never want to see
breakfast.
spaghetti again.
Spaghetti breakfast. Yeah,
Cold spaghetti breakfast.
I mean, like I think it would like I think like Michael gets up close and just starts to whisper so Steve doesn't overhear. Like I think it would be a little bit more awkward if like Steve went instead of me.
You just hear like yelling from the kitchen, "Hey, tell your mom your spaghetti is banging."
I think you're right. Well,
I mean,
hopefully we won't be having to see too much of my mom while we're here.
yeah, like I went over to like Escondido Street like the other day, just to like check things out, and like I don't know what Steve was doing. Like I know you went to like talk to your mom and all, like then that makes sense, but like I don't know what Steve did.
Mrs. W going extra on the meat sauce. Love that.
He's just I don't he's both intimidating and also kind of annoying at the same time. I don't know how he does it.
Does seem like a special kind of skill. Well,
Like,
how about you take care of him today?
uh, I will be literally just sort of drowned in sort of the pits of despair. Just,
So you'll do it.
yes, I guess I'll do it. Like,
Fantastic.
you, you remember, I remember, God, this is so dumb. You remember that scene in the never-ending story where with the horse?
Oh, just thinking about it just makes me want to cry.
That scene was so sad.
Was sad.
Yeah,
That's how bad it's gonna be for you?
I mean,
Surely
I
you're
th-
exaggerating.
think Steve will just sort of like just pull me down. Like I don't think it'll be as bad, but still, it's Steve is a lot.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out.
That feels like a good cut. So conditions. Do either of you want to make a case for having cleared a condition?
Uh, I think I'm going to clear annoyed because I talked about it with Katie
Oh, so
about my
okay, yeah,
feelings.
yeah. Okay, I'll take that. And Katie,
I'm gonna clear it told me you were coming because I think I've sort of dismissed my mom
your mom's
as
weirdness. Yeah,
just being
yeah,
weird.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
I'm
don't
into
talk.
that.
She was just being weird.
As a group, you get to define a clue. So be thinking about what that might be. It's something you stumble into, or think about, or recall. And I'm gonna check in with Steve. Steve, what'd you decide about out of character for this phone number? Do you want to
Yeah,
just give the clue some context, or do you
I
want to
think I'm
actually
gonna
get a roll?
I think I'm going to give it some context because
Mhm.
it could lead to exploring it further and making rolls. But for the actual call, I have an
Yeah.
idea.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
think when he does call the number, he dials it, it rings a couple of times and it clicks. And after like a moment of just like static, it plays the 3-note oddity. For those who don't know what this is a like recorded like signal state, like number signal
Oh
station, like
yeah.
tone intercepted. So just like a little do do do. And then after, like that plays a couple of times. After a moment, you then hear this like crackly, garbled voice saying, Achtung, Achtung, 3, 9, 4, 8, 6, 3, 9, 4, 8, 6, do, do, do. And then like just that repeats before eventually he hangs it up.
This is a fiction podcast all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Every like audio drama podcast does this number station thing. I love it. What do you? Okay, you can add that note to the clue. What do you do after that?
Yeah, that was a peculiar little instance. So I think once it's made clear that Michael is gonna be with me today, I think it's like we like cut to like me holding like the receiver up like on speaker and just like showing this and being like, that's pretty peculiar.
Those are numbers, I believe.
Yeah,
And
I think they're in
and
like Scandinavian, maybe Swiss.
no, I'm pretty sure it's German.
God, Michael, you're a smart guy. Anyone ever tell you you're smart? German. All right, so weird. Hangs it up.
How are you from Minnesota and didn't recognize it was German?
You think Steve Nutson's a smart man? Yeah, he absolutely does not. Um, he's like, so claps his hands together. You wanna talk about the house?
Yeah,
Do we
house
go to the
haunted.
house?
House haunted, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't see it yesterday. I was talking to Casey. How about you and
uh,
I, tag team, take two, go over there, two-pronged approach. Knudsen and
I,
Schroeder, a proper Minnesotan duo.
God, that baffled me as a player. um, I yeah, I think it's more or less of the two-prong approach rather than from the front and the back, but more or less we goes through together because like I think it's just like I think the ghost likes to target people who are by themselves.
Okay, I'm still not entirely on board with the whole ghost angle, but this is really interesting. So if you want to go back, I say you and me, we showed those ghosts, we should what for, yeah? You know, not gonna make anyone fuck with you. No one's gonna fuck with me. You know, not alone. Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not much of like an outdoorsy guy, and it's pretty hot, so I don't really want to go up to the lake. That sounds like a whole kind of like I didn't pack swim trunks on this trip, so I just feel a little awkward going up there. Maybe we can pick up some
trunks.
Why would I? I don't swim.
At that, you see Katie come into the room, and she's wearing her jeans over her bathing suit, hauling on a sweater. Well, I'm gonna go out to the lake. I don't know what you were doing.
I love it. Why don't we pick up with the lake, in fact? Pine Rock Ridge. I think Pine Rock Ridge is one of those, I think like as you pull up and you kind of park in a gravel parking lot, and there's a big wooden sign, like a carved from logs wood sign that shows the basic layout of the camp. So it also, which kind of gives you a sense of like what you can go explore here. So you have the cabins where all the camp counselors and the kids sleep. You have Pinecone Hall, which is the mess hall. There's a boathouse. There's Black Rock Beach, which is what they have named the little stretch of shore that belongs to Pine Rock Ridge. There is the Blue Marsh Loop, which is a walking trail. There's the lake itself, of course. So, yeah, I think we just see you pulling up. What do you do?
I am taking out of the backseat of my car. I've got a towel, I've got an umbrella, and I've got some sunscreen. And I am, well, I guess it's 2004. I don't think I have sunscreen. I think I have tanning oil.
Oh,
Tanning
yeah,
oil.
exactly. Yeah.
And I am walking out to the dock. I spread out my towel and sit down with a bottle of energy drink or fruit juice or whatever it is that Gatorade. It would be Gatorade, something like that.
So heading down
And
to
look out.
to Black Rock Beach.
Yep.
Sounds good. I think as you head down there, you can, in the distance, you can kind of hear like the murmur of like, kids basically, like laughing and carrying on like kids do. You can hear the camp counselors like kind of hollering at the kids or whatever. Let's talk about Black Rock Beach. It's actually made up of white sand beaches. They imported a bunch of sand and piled it here. There are also slippery dark rocks large enough to climb onto. There's a cordoned off swimming area marked by buoys and a white and blue rope. Let's paint the scene. What is your best or worst memory of swimming here? I mean, I think we know yours, Katie, but if you want to expand upon it, you certainly can. And Michael, since you didn't go to the camp, apparently, you can just tell us what you've heard about swimming there. Unless you have some other lake memory you want to tell us about.
This is what Michael has heard from his parents about the Deep Lake. There is sort of infestation of crawdads within it, enough to like sort of the biblical plague of locusts. It seems outrageous, but like there's probably like a crawdad or two in it. Like there's some macro truth, but it's not that many.
There could be a lot worse things in there. Wait till you see the seething. Who else wants to go?
Steve was an overweight kid, so his least favorite memory of swimming here can be equated with every other memory he has from this camp, where all of his fellow campers and one or two of the counselors gave him the nickname Porker.
Steve.
Porky Knudsen, and when a pig's having a bath, splash around Piglet, that kind of stuff. So he doesn't. It's all tied into a bundle of sadness.
Oh, I think your Zoom squelched your little pig noise, but it's okay.
I'm so sad.
You can do it for us later. Um, Katie, any further memories you'd like to share?
Oh, the last night of camp, I went skinny dipping with some of the other girls. And it just it felt so adult, and rebellious. If we got caught, we would have been in a lot of trouble. I mean, they couldn't kick us out of camp at that point, but it's still risky. We all made it back to our cabins safely, laughing and giggling, and swore never to tell anybody.
You actually see Emily Beaumont, that camp counselor who came over earlier today. You recognize her immediately because she has blue and purple dyed hair, kind of tied up in a ponytail. This would have been pretty rare in 2004, right? Not like it is today. And she has her Pine Rock Ridge logo vest on, big sunglasses, and she's kind of managing a group of kids. It looks like they're getting ready to go on a hike or something. And she's kind of like trying to get everybody organized. And I think she sees you. And she says, "Oh, hey."
Hi, Emily.
So, yeah, I'm really happy you and your friends are gonna take this seriously. I know it's like been more than a decade since Jessica disappeared, but well, I don't know. I heard you're here looking into weird stuff in town, so
Yeah, this sounds pretty weird. Have you seen anything weird happening recently?
well, I mean, I'm sorry. Can you hold on just like 1 second? Hey, kids. Yeah, don't forget. Remember, extra snacks and water while you're on the trails. Always keep next to your buddy. That's what Piney Pinecone says. 2 and 2 stick together like glue. And the kids say, 2 and 2 stick together like glue. And she turns and she's like, ah, God, I hate this place sometimes. But I love the kids, so.
Oh, I completely understand. I'm a coach for an award-winning cheerleading team.
Oh, yeah, you look like a cheerleader.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah, Jessica, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, you've been a camp counselor here for how long?
Well, we just reopened this year, so
Yeah.
1 year.
So, yeah, have you seen anything weird since reopening?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I've come down here every year. Well, at this point, go ahead and make the meddling move with presence. We'll see if she has anything useful to say.
Do I have anything that might be useful? Not really. That's 7.
7. We'll pick this up. We'll pick up this conversation in a moment. I want to check in on Michael and Steve. If it's okay, we'll just fast forward to you going into the back door again into the house. Let me give you the lay of the land really quickly. So we have the kitchen, which we've seen a little bit of. We also have the bedrooms, one for each of the kids, plus the master bedroom. There's a basement down below. What else do we have? Oh, then there's a big like TV room, like a kind of family room as well. So let's just have them when you both get in there. Yeah, have the scene.
Yeah, like the back door like slides open, and we see silhouetted Steve Knudsen in his TJ Maxx double XL, way too baggy on him shirt, in jeans, stepping inside, like looking around. And then like does like the glance over his shoulder and like the all clear nod of like, come on in.
Michael just walks on in, not trying to be stealthy at all, just like,
All right, yeah, spooky. All right, Mickey boy, where'd you get scared?
Mickey boy?
Yeah, I'm trying it out. Why not?
I'm not Mickey Mouse.
No, but you're Michael, short, Mickey. Okay, fine. How about Eagle One?
All right, I guess. Then what are you?
Eagle 2.
Okay.
So you got scared. Show me where. Let me see what happened. Walk me through it.
Yeah, I was going through the dining room, then
Okay.
headed into the kitchen, and there was
Dining
this
room.
pantry.
Gotcha. Walks in the dining room. Okay, this is absolutely disgusting. Oh my
Yeah, that
God.
yeah, that like they literally just from what it looks like, they just disappeared, like taken by aliens. But however, I'm pretty sure it's ghosts because I have not seen any sort of like weird alien stuff that you see in movies.
Gotcha. All right. Well, how about this, right? Let's make sure that there's no maybe vagrants here, people here who might be like lurking around, might want to scare you. Could have maybe encountered somebody who was just like, like squatting here. So here, you stay in the daylight, right? You cover the first floor. I'll check the basement, double check, make sure the house is clear, go from there. All right. Everything's gonna be good. Pat, pat, I walk away.
I think like Michael disregards that and just follows you, Steve. I'm just like, wait, no, that we're teaming up to deal with this together because the ghost will get you if you go by yourself.
All right. Okay. Sure. But okay. Just maybe going forward, I've heard that you don't want to like leave yourself open to being like taken by surprise. So if we're both going down to the basement, if there's anyone messing around up here, it's going to bottleneck us on that staircase down there, and we're going to have to fight him coming back on the way up. So you really want to consider your priorities. If you think that we can give him the old
Oh,
1-2, gotcha.
I, like if it really, really bothers you, I'll stay at the top of the stairs, just guarding, and I'll give you a shout.
Not sure how I feel about leaving you so vulnerable, but okay. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, I'll make sure the basement is secure. You hear anything funny up on this ground floor, I'm running up and I'm gonna tackle it. You got it?
All right.
Okay.
Steve going down to the basement.
And one more detail is that after he goes like, all right, cool, holds up his hand and goes, Eagle Squad. Goes for a high
Eagle
five.
Squad. Michael gives you the saddest high five.
High four. Stairs go down to the basement. There's still a little bit of light coming in from the you know how basements have those like high windows that are on the ground floor. There's some light coming in from there, so it's
Those
not
little
complete.
well windows, yeah.
Yeah, it's not completely dark, though it's certainly dim. There is a quite strong smell of sawdust and rat droppings invading your nose. There are still stacks of old U-Haul boxes, and there's a disassembled Christmas tree in one corner. Let's paint the scene, everyone. Something about the basement makes us think the kids were terrified to come down here. What is it?
The furnace. The furnace in the basement is loud. Even now, when there's probably not been turned on in ages and years, every now and then it makes a large clunk sound that echoes through the unfinished ceiling. As a child, when you're small and everything seems huge, that must have been terrifying.
I don't think Michael may have been personal friends with the Rappaports, but there was always wild rumors spreading about amongst the children when we were at this age where there was a rumor if you looked inside the furnace, even when it's on, you could see someone inside it.
The staircases, this was the stairs down into the basement, those good old wooden, open steps, but they're not like, once you're down the basement, you can't like go behind the steps. They're kind of like in this like little boxed enclosed hallway thing. So it's like, if it's like this dark empty spider web dusty place behind the steps where someone could just as easily, like if they were hiding in there, reach through and grab your ankles.
Steve, how are you feeling right now as you go down?
I'm feeling fine. I'm just kind of like open the door, look down into the dimly lit space, and just gives Michael a nod. Kind of takes a few steps down. Is there like a light switch?
There is, but the
It
power's been
doesn't
cut
work.
for
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
Yeah.
He still flicks it like a few times, like
Mhm.
power's out. And then stops about halfway, stomps his shoe on the stairs to be a little louder, a little dust disturbs. He'll continue all the way down, and it's just like looking around.
Make the meddling move with composure.
Sure. Happy to. Yeah, okay. That is a 7.
7. We'll come back to this. Michael, while you're at the top of the stairs, watching all this happen, I think from where the top of the little threshold of where the stairs go down into the basement, that like looks into the hallway that connect the bedrooms. So there's like a doorway. You go in that doorway and there's the hall. So you can kind of just see the doorway of the hallway. It's perpendicular, right? And at one point, you see a matchbox car rolling across the floor, slow enough to where, well, it's possible it got pushed by someone in the hallway, or it's rolling on its own. In either case, I want the day move. What do you think is going to happen if
Yeah.
you lose your nerve right now?
I I just flee from the house because I'm not dealing with ghosts again by myself, and Steve has abandoned me. So
I'm
I'll
going to put you at
abandon Steve.
disadvantage because of haunted as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So roll 3d6 and take the two lowest.
Absolutely nothing in my corner of the house that can assist me. Ah, that is really good. What stat is this with?
Composure.
Composure. That's an 11.
Oh, nice. How do you react?
I think Michael just says aloud, I'm not going towards that. I'm staying here.
You'll probably overhear Michael say that, Steve, but you don't have any context for what he's saying.
I didn't say anything, Mickey.
Ghost is trying to get a reaction out of me. Told you that it tries to haunt you when you're by yourself.
Yeah, sure thing, Mickey.
We'll come back to the scene. Katie, you got a mid result, right?
7.
She says, yeah, would you know what? We can talk about it. Would you mind just getting on the trail with me and the kids for a little bit?
Oh, yeah, that sounds fantastic. I haven't been hiking in ages.
She's like, yeah, here, I'll help you pack up your stuff. Fortunately, it's a pretty easy hike, just once around the loop. It's no big deal. But it takes a while because when you got a group of kids, everything takes a while.
Well, don't worry. I love kids. I'm well versed in handling large groups of them. I mean, generally speaking, I work with high schoolers, but it can't be that different.
She's like, well, actually, it's just as well because I can I can show you something that I found, and I don't know if it has any connection to what happened to Jessica. I mean, people say all kinds of weird things about the disappearances back in the 90s, but anyway, come with me. And yeah, and you're kind of slowly going on Blue Marsh Loop with the kids, big group of kids, a few of the counselors. Emily occasionally has to like walk away from you to deal with kid stuff, but then she'll kind of fall back. And let's talk about Blue Marsh Loop. It's a well-worn footpath with wooden markers, names and lovesick woes intermittently carved into trees, and there's water licking at eroded rock and soil. Paint the scene. Children and tweens come out here to escape the less than watchful eyes of camp counselors, What have these kids been trying to hide?
There's a particular tree that the kids know. It's got a particular set of initials carved into it. The initials aren't spectacular, there's nothing special there, but it marks the tree. 10 paces from that tree, if you go in behind towards the lake, there's a little hole in the forest, and inside the hole are a collection of well worn, quite old, filthy magazines.
There's an old rotted out stump little along the trail. It's easy to miss because it's kind of around like one of those, like it goes up and then it's like a sharp bend you back down. But kind of like wedged between a couple of rocks, there's this like old rotted stump that if you reach inside, they have like taken some pieces of just like bark and branches and like made essentially like a false bottom that you can like pick it up, and there is a pack of cigarettes.
A little bit less, I guess, scandalous, I guess, compared to the other two, but like there is enough bushes and whatnot to hide any sort of like kissing you may want to accomplish at summer camp.
Fantastic. Let's take a 5-minute break.
Mhm.
So, Katie, we have a question here about the Deep Lake Lurker. Is it a horrid beast, or is it a transformed Jessica Stosky? Is it something snatching the kids, or is the Deep Lake Lurker the previously snatched kid trying to grab their replacement or something like that? It's complexity 4. If you answer it correctly, it unlocks the next question. Your first clue is what Emily Beaumont points out to you along the trail. She says, now, I am not inclined to give any credence to the idea of some kind of huge, monstrous beast prowling these waters, but I don't know, man. And she points at a tree where there's like big claw marks gouged into the bark of the tree. She says, we don't have bears in the desert. We don't have anything that could do something like that. That's your first clue.
I go up and I put my hand over it just to see the difference in
Yeah,
a human hand.
it's probably like twice the size. Yeah. She's like, so yeah.
That's unsettling.
A little bit. A little bit.
But something that large, prowling, this is a well lit as far as, wood paths go. Why wouldn't anyone have seen it? And why is Claw this tree?
My mother says that suntanning lotion is really dangerous.
I don't believe that's true. Look at my skin. It looks amazing. And it's like very overtanned.
There's a little boy there, appeared quite suddenly with you and Emily while you're looking at this tree. He is, um, he's got finger paint under his nails. He's carrying a basket full of rocks and leaves. He's like a weird rock kid. Um, he has a disposable camera on a lanyard around his neck. And he looks younger than the other kids. The other kids look like they average between 10 and 12 years old. He looks like he's like 8. He says, my mother says that too much sun can lead to melanoma.
Well, you should tell your mother about the benefits of vitamin D.
I had an aunt who died of melanoma. She suffered terribly.
That's really sad, kid.
In the end, no one could even touch her. She just would like sit there and kind of wail in pain horribly.
And they let you witness this?
Well, that's just what I was told and overheard from the hallway outside her room in the hospital.
Sounds like you're good at overhearing things, kid.
I like to keep my eyes open. You never know when truth will reveal itself to you.
Have you overheard anything interesting here at camp? Seen any weird truths?
Make the meddling move, but triggering this meddling move automatically gives you the condition marked by Daniel Quan. No roll required.
Is this with
Presence. Yeah.
7.
7. He says, I might have seen a few things of an unusual nature. I happen to be hunting the Deep Lake Lurker.
The Deep Lake Lurker. Is that some kind of monster?
Emily says, I'm going to leave you two to it. I'm going to go check on the other kids. And she leaves you with Daniel Quan. He says, I'm hunting the Deep Lake Lurker. Everyone else just talks about it, but I think, well, I'm a man of action.
Yeah, I can tell.
All the other kids are all talk, but I walk the walk.
So what's your investigation? What results have you found?
Well, that's why I've got this. And he holds up his disposable camera on the lanyard. I'm actually going to sneak out tonight after dark. That's when it's most active, I believe. My hypothesis is that it's a nocturnal creature. Like a giant owl, maybe.
Well, why would a giant owl live in a lake?
Or maybe it's a moth, a big, huge moth.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
Well, I don't know, but I think it comes out at night, and I'm going to get a picture of it. I just have to make sure that I don't wake anybody up so that I can sneak out of the cabin, and I also have to make sure that I don't fall asleep before everyone else again.
How about this, kid? I'm also interested in the Deep Lake Lurker. Can I
Oh,
borrow
really?
your camera? And I'll take a picture of it tonight. That way you don't get in trouble and you get a good night's sleep.
No way. No way, Jose. You're not going to steal my glory.
It's your camera. Who's going to say that I did it anyway?
If you use my camera, then that means any photos that you take of the Deep Lake Lurker are my intellectual property.
Agreed.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want some kind of assistant or something, though?
I think it'd be better if you stay in your cabin. Because if you get in trouble and get kicked out of camp, well, then there's your investigation gone.
Right. Well, also, I wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Oh. You don't have a home?
No, but my parents dropped me off here in the summer so they could go on vacation
I feel that,
without
kid.
me. I mean, they love me.
I'm sure they do. I imagine they just want to have a break from being parents for a while.
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean, you get to have a break from being a kid that's living with them for a while. That's nice, right?
I suppose. But everybody here's so mean to me.
I'll tell you what, kid.
That's why I have to sleep in the girl cabin. Because the boys pick on me.
What do you know about self-defense?
Good. That feels like a good cut.
Cut to Steve Knudsen.
Steve
I want to
Knudsen.
teach this kid how to kick ass.
Yeah, that's good. Take marked by Daniel Quan as a condition, and I think we'll just kind of let that roll there. I do owe you a clue, though, I guess, from him. I'll think on that. let's pick up with Steve Knudsen and Michael. So, Michael, you're just like going to basically just suppress that you just saw a Hot Wheels roll by. um,
I'm just like I'm like refusing to move from this spot just because like I was told to defend here and I will, and I don't want to deal with the ghost. I'm really not happy without the Steve Knudsen going into the basement. I'm
Steve,
haunted.
first your clue. Something you find down in the basement. Actually, you find there's a little door down there. Maybe it opens up into that space behind the stairs. Maybe it opens up into like a closed off part of the basement. Who knows? But there are height marks on the door frame of this door for one of the children, except the mark for 1 year is missing. It's also weird that the kids clearly didn't like to come down here, but they came down here to mark their heights. But anyway, that's your clue. It may amount to nothing, but it is strange. Here's the complication. When you open that little door, it opens up not into a storage closet, not into a laundry room, but into a perfectly pitch black hallway that goes what must be beyond the dimensions of the house underground. It's not a 5.5 minute hallway that we know of. And you smell cigarette smoke coming from the hall. It's the distinct smell of tobacco. Fresh.
Yeah.
Do you wish to go down the hall?
What Steve does is he wishes to, but first what he does is he like looks in. It's a little astonished for a moment, but then like kind of like back steps a little carefully towards the base of the stairs and just goes, Mike,
Yeah.
I found a secret passage.
All right.
I'm going to follow it.
You want me to come down there as backup?
Yeah, there was someone, I smelled cigarette smoke. There's someone who was just here.
Okay. All
Need
right.
some backup. All right.
Yeah, I come down the stairs.
Did you bring a flashlight?
Of course, and I bring out my keychain that has like the little flashlight on it and click.
All right. Torchbearer goes first. I got your 6.
Oh God.
This is going to be the night move. I'm gonna make Steve roll it for the group.
Yeah, that's fine.
Night move. It's gonna be with. Although I should make Michael do it because of the darkness. But what do you think is gonna happen if you lose your nerve right now?
So because I'm firmly rooted in a not really like supernatural mode, I'm worried that someone's gonna come like racing out of the darkness and like attack us, and I'll be unprepared.
It's worse than that. Something is going to come racing out of the darkness and snatch one of you away. If you wish to continue, you're going to roll with composure.
I will mark my switchblade as he flicks it out, and just kind of like guys is like, you know, is patting Michael in the back, being like, "Got you covered," and is like ready to like,
got it.
ready. He's in combat mode.
You can mark that to get to buck up your nerve and get advantage.
Love it. That is a 10.
Nice. The two of you are. Well, you describe it. Are you slowly going down the hall, or are you quickly rushing down the hall?
It's like it's like a slow, methodical approach. Michael's light scanning the extent of it, going deeper in, and like I got one hand on his shoulder, other, switchblade out, like kind of like peering over, occasionally glimpsing back, just on edge as we creep ever closer towards whatever's at the end of this hallway.
You hear a voice in the darkness, presumably coming from the mouth on the other end of that cigarette. You are now stepping into the darkness, into the void of the unknown. You are the high priestess, descending into the deep pools of the mind to retrieve its unfathomable secrets. You are Persephone, entering the realm of her lord and husband. You are stepping ever closer.
Hey, bud, I don't know what you're tweaking on, but this is a private property, and
Steve, we're intruding as well, so I don't think that's a good
but
idea.
he doesn't know that. We could be cops.
I'm not a cop.
Count your steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As he counts, the space becomes lighter. You can see more around you. 7, 8, 9. You see him. At first, you think you're just looking at the wall, but you realize now you're not. It's a man, a very large man, in a creamy yellow suit. He looks to be about 6.5, 7 feet tall, possibly. He fills up this little small underground room. He's about half as wide at the shoulder, just enormous. Bulky, cowboy hat, jowly, bolo tie shaped like the sun. You're in this room that almost looks more like a cave. The walls seem rough, unfinished. There is a zarape rug laid out on the floor, and he is sitting in a chair, barely capable of containing his vastness, and smoking his cigarette. It's not even entirely clear where the illumination is coming from in the room. Welcome to the void. How do you like it so far? We'll cut there. Katie Wright. Daniel Quan. He talks a lot. There's a lot of information going on. Most of it is just stupid kid talk. Kids at this age are incredibly boring, right? And they just rattle on. But he does mention one thing that stands out to you, because it might be something that you kind of remember from when you were a kid. He talks about the sinking ceremony. The kids are going to do the sinking ceremony. And you remember the sinking ceremony, or at least talk of it, from when you used to come to Pine Rock Ridge. And there was also talk back then of something happening to the kids that disappeared related to this so-called sinking ceremony. That's your clue.
I also teach him how to throat punch.
Yeah. So how do you how's this going? Like, what's the scene as he's telling you all this stuff? Are you just like,
I think he's telling me stuff,
yeah,
and then like every time he tells me something cool, I teach him a new move.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, good. He says, my mom says that people who need to like act with violence are trying to, well, that they need, what they really need is they need like a more efficient way of processing their emotions.
I think your mom's probably right, but unfortunately, it takes a while to learn how to do that. So sometimes you just have to speak their language.
Oh, I see. Interesting. So if someone picks on me, I
Try to
punt,
talk to them,
right?
and if they try to hurt you, you hurt them back. It's called defensive. Don't go on the offensive, go on the defensive.
Right. Interesting. Okay. And um then he says some more like random nonsense, as you're doing this. What did you get on your die roll?
7.
7. Hmm. I you can just keep marked by Daniel Quan. I think that's fine for now.
Okay.
He says, so you're going to come back tonight then?
I am, but you have to lend me your camera.
Well, okay. Sure. Mm,
And promise me you're going to stay in your cabin all night?
he says, I promise, but he's also like very obviously crossing his fingers behind his back.
Because remember, if you get kicked out of camp, your investigation's over.
And I have nowhere to go.
And you have nowhere to go.
Okay, fine. But remember, you have to come straight to me if you see the lurker.
I absolutely will. You said you're in the girls' cabin?
Loon cabin, yes.
All right.
And at this point, you'll be done with Blue Marsh Loop and back at the main encampment. Let's check in with our other latchkeys.
Can I put Daniel's camera in my items?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
This enormous man in this little cave-like room at the end of this weird hallway that shouldn't exist, or at least it certainly would be very, very strange for this house to have such a hallway. He's welcomed you. What do you both do?
I think Michael is just like frozen because he doesn't know what to do and doesn't, for some reason, he doesn't feel threatened by this big man. Just, but at the same time, he doesn't know what to say because like all of this has been extremely cryptic and doesn't know what any of it means in context. Like individually, he understands what the words are, but like, what does this have to do with ghosts? I don't know.
Yeah, and behind him, Steve is just, still one hand on Michael's shoulder, other one like kind of like peering over, and he's just like he does look perturbed, and like fumbles for words before saying, Are you the one who's been messing with my boy Mike here?"
I believe you may have me confused with someone else. This is the first time I've laid eyes on you both. Or at
Okay.
least the first time I've seen you up close.
All right, no, it's just not a good thing to say. So, what are you doing down here?
He takes a drag on his cigarette. Truth be told, I wasn't entirely sure where I was going to be at this moment. Sometimes people just sort of stumble in here, or sometimes I find myself somewhere where I did not expect to be. I sort of float around.
All right, yeah, great. So we'll leave you to that. He like whispers up to Mike and goes, "This guy is fucking nuts. Let's maybe just retreat back the way we came."
All right. And I think Michael just takes a step back immediately and probably steps on your foot.
Oh, fuck. Oh, god damn it, Mike.
What's the rush? You only just got here.
What's there to do? Ow, god damn it.
You should know that this house is irredeemably evil. But I think you knew that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I've been saying the entire time. It's haunted.
Okay. Kind of like a little unkindly shoves past Michael to step into the room and like approach this guy as he's like sitting in this chair. And he goes, "All right there, Mr. Man. So you're smoking down here, having a just a grand old time, talking about it's evil, talking about voids and priestesses and something. I'm not even Episcopalian, so you want to tell me like whatever is all right, what's up? What's the deal?"
First of all, you can call me the Wanderer. Because that's what I do. I wander.
He looks back over his shoulder at Michael and says, "I told you there was a vagrant down here."
I observe. I remember. And I tell stories about the places I wander to, about the people I see. I'm going to tell a story about you someday. You can be sure of that. I do wonder, though, what kind of ending it's going to have.
Okay, yeah, great. So if you have nothing useful to say, and if you're just gonna keep spouting things, we'll leave you to enjoy your cigarette. We're just gonna go back to the house. You want the doors shut when we leave?
He smiles and gets a glint in his rheumy eyes. As he smiles, this sort of like thick flesh kind of shifts and undulates and tightens. It reveals a mouthful of jagged yellow teeth. He says, "You and your friends should probably leave this town. And that's not a threat. That is just good advice. You ain't never gonna find that TV station."
How the hell did you know about that?
Oh, now you're interested in what I have to say. How are things going with those tapes?
Fine. We've
Yeah.
only watched one so far, but did you already know that?
If you manage to get your hands on any more of them, I recommend you do not press play. This whole situation is bigger than you. Hell, it's bigger than me. And that's pretty damn big, wouldn't you say?
But if they're out there, someone is bound to press play on them.
Oh, at this point, I could quote any number of ancient scholars and philosopher kings, some words of wisdom to memorialize this moment, to make you consider your place within the vast purview of humanity, or whatever impetus drives you and your kind. There's a reason why you're here. There's a thing that pushes you forward. There's truths to be learned. There's layers to be peeled back, veils to be pierced. But sometimes you just need to walk away. And that's what I'm recommending. You walk away.
Great, understood. He turns and like kind of like gives Mike a little bit of like a shove, being like, yeah, let's walk away. Let's walk away, Michael. Down the tunnel. Let's walk away.
I think Michael is being rather unhelpful in this, sort of transfixed on this big man. But there's nothing else to be done. That we can only move forward. We can only seek out the meaning of it all.
Indeed. You find yourselves not in this little cave at all, or in the hallway, or in the basement for that matter. You are in the sitting room, the TV room of 18 Escondido Street, looking at a large entertainment center with television and VCR. You're both sitting on a well-worn couch, a maroon couch. Let's paint the scene about the Rappaport family TV room. A maroon sectional sofa, huge entertainment center, VCR, TV, so forth. Looking around, how do we know this was the most frequented room in the house?
The red shag carpet is worn down in this room, or at least in front of the TV, in front of the couch, along the walkways. It's still quite long and dusty in the edges of the room.
The repeated oils off of hands, fingers, that kind of thing over the various surfaces have permanently altered the way dust like lands here. So you have like these denoted patterns just that form predominantly more heavier than others.
I think with the way, like, even though we are sitting on this couch, I think as we get up, it doesn't really raise up again. It's more as though we were sitting in someone else's spot from years ago.
I want to memorialize that moment with the big man by giving you both a condition. It'll just be the big man. And ask you what you do from here.
Yeah, Steve like very quickly gets up, like, what the looking around, like dukes up and like stomps over, like immediately like rushes out of the room, like throws the door open back into the basement and is like running back down to
What basement?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no basement.
His like hands, or is it like there's just like a blank wall where the basement door was?
Yeah, where that
or-
door was, there's
Nice.
no door.
His
Yeah.
hand just like press up against that like rub and goes, no, fuck. No. All right, Mikey, we're getting the fuck out of here. Just
Told you
like-
it was haunted.
At this point, Steve Knudsen, a Hot Wheels rolls out into the hallway
Stop it.
and taps your shoe.
Hell no. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Do you both leave?
Mhm.
Yeah, run for the back.
Indeed. You practically slam into a woman who is peeking in through the back glass. We'll get to her in a moment. Meanwhile, Katie, what does the rest of your afternoon look like?
I'm gonna go back to my spot on the beach and get a little sun, watch the water, see if anything weird happens.
They have this like swimming pier out on the
Yeah.
lake. It's one of those like floating platforms, where in horror movies murders always happen.
I
Um,
remember it because that's what we had to swim out to and back from on our swim race.
you see a lifeguard who hops out of the water onto the swimming pier, and he is quite fit. Um, Golden tan, very, very short little red lifeguard shorts, kind of sandy blonde hair, and I think he sees you from across the way and he like waves at you like he knows you or wants to know you. And he's like beckoning you to come join him.
Yeah, I shimmy out of my blue jeans and haul off my t-shirt so I have my swimwear on, unlace my hiking boots, and I'm gonna dive off the small pier that sticks out
Yeah, yeah, to get over
from
to
yeah,
get to,
to
to
get
get to
out
the
to where.
swimming pier. Yeah. Um, for getting into the water, please take the condition the next victim.
Oh, lovely.
What about being in the water feels unnerving to you right now?
It doesn't feel like regular lake water. It feels like there's sort of a slick to it, almost like oil, but it doesn't have that smell. It's not iridescent like that, but it feels more dense than real normal water would be.
This lifeguard helps you up out of the onto the swimming pier, and you can see now that he's got a couple of kids that are kind of like splashing around in the water, and he's not paying attention to them at all. And he says, "Hey, I'm Joey."
Hi, Katie.
He's like, "Cool. So are you one of the new counselors?"
No, I'm just out here enjoying my vacation. Emily invited me.
Oh yeah, cool, cool. She said that like some people might be coming by. I guess you're one of those people.
That's me.
So how do you know Emily?
Oh, just, through people. I used to live in Deep Lake.
Oh, cool, cool. So yeah, do you like to swim?
Really love swimming, actually.
It's like,
Seems like you're a pretty good swimmer yourself. You can
yeah.
tell by your shoulders,
He's like, yeah, well, you gotta keep fit. You never know, anything could happen. And you can like hear like a kid like falling in and like
Yeah.
splashing around and he's not paying any attention at all. He says, this is a pretty easy gig. I mostly just work on my tan.
Well, it's working out pretty good for you from the looks of it.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. You look pretty sun-kissed yourself.
Oh, well, gotta get that vitamin D.
Right,
I'm
right.
a cheerleading coach, you see, so I have to make sure I look my best and, so the kids can have someone to look up to, have a good role model.
Oh, cheerleading, cool. That's cool.
It is
Yeah.
cool. Pretty cool
He's
being a lifeguard too, like saving lives.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so important,
Yeah.
saving lives.
Yeah, these kids, the safety, it's like a higher calling.
He says, "Do you want to get lunch in the mess hall?"
That sounds awesome. What are they serving today?
He's like, "Well, I don't know exactly, but probably hot dogs and pizza."
Oh, well, gotten some swimming and hiking in. I suppose I could do with a hot dog.
Right, right. He's like, "All right, yeah, let's go." And then he just like hollers at the kids like, "All right, pack it up. Let's go back." And then he doesn't like deal with them in any other way. And he kind of gets in the water, and you're both like in the water, like paddling, wading back. And I think at this point, he like stops and he's like, and he kind of says, he looks at you and he's like, oh, I see what kind of girl you are. He says, that's kind of kinky.
Sorry,
And you-
what?
and you're not doing anything. He's like, oh, wow. We got to be careful. There's kids around here.
I swim back a few arm lengths. Are you okay?
And that's when he gets a look like he's scared because you're over there and there's something going on over here. I want you to make the day move right now. What are you afraid is going to happen if this goes badly? Whatever's
I'm
going
afraid
on.
whatever is going on is gonna pull us under.
Yeah, go ahead and roll with composure. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because of the next victim.
Oh no. I don't even have the camera on me. Daniel's gonna be so mad. That's 11.
Oh, nice. Um, he kind of swims close to you and he says, I don't know what is going on. I think maybe I just like brushed up against a branch or something, maybe. I don't really know. We should go though.
Yeah, let's get out of the water.
And you can swim to the
Yeah.
shore and be done with that. I want to check in with all the characters, see what maybe we'll have like one more scene each, and then we'll call it a day phase. So, Michael and Steve, what do you do after you? Oh no, you're encountering somebody. So let's have that scene. You run into a woman who is like peeking through the glass, trying to see what's going on in there. She is, let's describe her. She has a helmet of brown hair. She's wearing a striped polyester blouse, very chunky jewelry. She's kind of middle-aged, and she says, "Oh, excuse me. What are you?
I think
What
the
are you
one
doing in there?"
the one alteration I want to make to this, because you said we almost run into her. I think Steve Knudsen fully ran into her.
Oh yeah, she falls ass over tea kettle, and she's like, "Oh, what? Watch where you're going, young man."
uh, uh, uh,
She's like, "Don't you know who I am?
no.
I am the president of the local homeowners association."
Yes, Mrs. Head, I'm so sorry.
She's like, "Oh, you know who I am?"
Yes, we met briefly a few weeks ago when we were first coming into Deep Lake.
Oh, right. You're making a TV show or something.
Yes.
So is this what your show is about?
It's sort of
About
exploring
derelict
the
homes that should have been torn down years ago because they're an eyesore?
Yes.
But the sister of the disappeared owner refuses to allow that to happen?
No, yeah, no.
It is a scandal, let me tell you.
This house,
I mean,
it's bad.
you tell Debbie Rappaport that enough is enough. This place
Yep.
has to be gutted and sold.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly, Mrs. Head. Like we were just leaving on our way to go do that directly. I figured this could help you out because it's more
Please,
voices than just one.
please. Mrs. Head is my mother. You can call me Patience.
I have so your name is Patience Head?
Patience, yes. So
You-
named because I'm a very patient individual, though I am currently running out of my reserves with this instance.
Do you have a relative in Minnesota?
Oh, well, there are heads all over the country, young
No,
man.
I know some people who know a lady her name's Temperance, so I just, huh.
I'm quite sure that it has no relevance to what you're doing inside
No,
that
sorry.
house.
No, just yeah, no, we were it's bad house. Yeah, no, we agree. The house got to go. Trying to, you know.
As the president of the HOA, I have a responsibility to keep an eye on what's going on around here. I mean, it's certainly no business of mine what people get up to in the privacy of their own homes. But what sort of neighbor would I be? What sort of community leader would I be if I didn't stay abreast of the happenings around here? And I don't know how I feel about a group of young film documentarians coming into our town to make a story or a TV show or movie or whatever it is about this house.
Well, it's more or less that's
I thought there would be
looking
some
throughout the
equipment or something, some cameras or something.
it's more or less to make sure the equipment is safe within the house, just to see like the structurally
So then
soundness of the
Debbie
house.
has put you up to this then. Oh, I should have known it. I should have known it. She's been looking for a way of like turning this whole situation to her advantage for as many years as, well, ever since Hugh and Sherry disappeared. Oh, my God.
Yeah, what do I take it you don't get along with Debbie?
Don't you have to get me to sign some sort of release before you start asking me questions?
Sure. He like reaches in his pocket and like he pulls out the scrap he found with the phone number on it, but like flips it over and just says, you can just
This doesn't look like a very legal document, young man.
Well, we
what-
didn't figure that we were going to be meeting people out here today. It's more.
Yeah, no, but
It's-
if you sign, I will make sure that it's attached to any legal documentation that's relevant.
I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday, young man. I know when someone is trying to get my goat, but let me assure you, my goat is not easily got. And so, I'm going to need you both to leave this property immediately, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, no, sure. We'll get out of your hair. We'll get out of your hair. And we'll be sure that we deal with things we will approach this in a way that cooperates.
Does the sheriff even know you're here?
I have spoken with the sheriff.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
He didn't mention you to me.
You know Bill?
Sheriff Hanscom, yes, I know him very well. I think
Yeah.
he's perhaps a little too young for his position. And
Maybe
he's
because,
maybe a little
he,
green around the gills.
Maybe it's because he didn't mention Steve. He mentioned the young upstart deputy that he had the pleasure of conferring with, newly arrived in town. That's right. Not soon to be Deputy Steve Knudsen.
This is all getting so confusing and out of hand. All right.
Exactly. So why don't we just go on our way and you can go about your business and make sure the lawns are cut to
Fine.
Yep.
But hear me well, Steve Knudsen. I have my eye on you.
Two eyes. Yep. Firmly rooted in the head. Got it.
Take the condition, I have my eye on you.
Love it.
And then you can leave.
Come on, Mikey. He grabs him by the forearm and just carts him back out to the car.
Let's have another scene with Katie, and then we'll start to transition to phases. Katie, do you go have lunch with Joey Keene?
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in having lunch with somebody, even though you have a boyfriend back home. Just lunch.
It's just lunch. Pine Cone Hall is filled with long tables with stackable chairs. There are prayers hung up on walls in a mixture of Christian and bastardized Native American faiths from the Southwest. There's an overabundance of fish wall hangings. Pinecone Hall has an open-air deck that hangs out over Deep Lake alongside the indoor dining space. The camp counselors take their lunch on the deck outside while the kids crowd in. And indeed, it is lunchtime and there's kids everywhere. Let's paint the scene. The food here seems a bit, we'll say, nutritionally suspect. What's on the menu?
Bargain macaroni and cheese with meat, hot dogs that are chopped up, mixed in.
They're called Porky Pups. Thank you very much. There is a spinach casserole that is like a very like separated layer of oil.
I think because it has been like opened up within recent years, they had to expand their traditional menu to include vegetarian options. Uh, it's just carrots and celery.
You see Daniel Quan, he's not in line with the other kids getting disgusting macaroni and pizza and other things. He's he's in another line where they're making him a little plate of like melon slices and salad and other things like that. And he looks over longingly at the pizza and the hot dogs. It just looks a little sad.
I'm gonna sneak him a piece of pizza as I walk by. I'm just gonna slide one onto his table in front of him.
He says, "Thank you so much. This could kill me."
Don't die.
Okay. Joey gives himself a little spritz of Axe body spray and then welcomes you out into the deck with his food. You got your food in hand. He's like, he does that little thing when he sits down at the table, that little pump, kind of drumming on the table a little bit as he sits down. And he definitely sits down in the little chair, like kind of Riker style, you know, like with like backward, you know, swinging his leg around, you know, the back of the chair. And he says, "So what are you here for?"
Oh, I'm just here for the summer, reliving the old days from when I was a kid and checking
Cool.
out some, you know, old nostalgia.
Her and her friends are going to help me figure out what happened to Jessica all those years back. And Emily, she sits down with you.
Thanks, Emily.
She's like, "Hey, uh, well, so have you made any more progress?"
No, it's been an hour.
Joey says, "She's made some progress, if you know what I mean." Emily's like, "I don't think I do know what you mean, Joey."
I don't think he means anything. You know what? We did actually have a weird experience out in the lake.
Oh?
Well, we were swimming, and I gestured to the guy whose name I've forgotten.
Joey, he's like,
Well,
"It's probably best if we don't talk about that."
it was just weird, right? It just
Yeah, it was just a branch or something. It's fine.
Yeah, Joey got caught on a branch
Well,
or something.
a branch worked its way up the inside of my shorts.
Yeah. Very specific kind of branch, I think.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Anyway, it was a little weird, but I'm gonna come back later tonight and check things out.
Oh, okay, cool, great. Um, and
Would you like to join me, Joey? I'm just gonna be hanging around on the beach all night.
it's like, uh, yeah, that'd be super cool. All the kids are going to be in Loon Cabin watching a movie, but
Well, guess we won't be that disturbed then.
cool. And that feels like
Yeah.
a good place to cut the scene there. Let's go ahead and transition phases. Let's talk about the dusk. Well, do we have? I don't think we have any moves that resolve in the dusk. You have an Odyssey tape right now. Do you all want to watch it? Only one of you has to watch it.
I think
What tape do we have?
Happy Jack.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be fun with the new rules in mind, as has been mentioned. Is it that one of the Latchkeys has to, or can we just say like the kids in Loon Cabin are
Yeah, can I
watching?
make
Oh.
the kids? Can I put it on in the cabin?
Yeah, you could put it on the cabin with the kids. Yeah, because they're watching movies. They're
And
watching
that's because
videos.
Katie will be out doing things around the lake anyway, I assume.
Yeah.
So
I'll just get.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask Daniel Quan to report back what he sees.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
God.
or
I like
I-
that Daniel Quan slips he
Mm.
he puts the tape in, or something like
Mhm.
yeah, that'd be fun.
I think I had it with me and he swiped it.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm into that. Yeah, that's good. Well, so then what's everybody going to be doing tonight?
I'm gonna be watching the lake.
I feel like Michael is not Michael. Sorry, I feel like Steve is firmly in this house fucking sucks mode. So I feel like I have a duty to go back at night.
To the house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think Michael will go along with Steve just because, like, I'm not gonna let Steve die in the haunted house. That's a bad idea.
I love it. So everybody gets to take one action basically of the night phase. So Katie, sounds like you're going to try to snap a picture of the lurker. Specifically, Steve, what are you going to do when you go back to the house?
I think he's gonna. I want to resist the temptation to say I'm gonna burn it down. He's gonna go into the room where the Hot Wheel was rolling out of.
Okay, good. Yeah. Michael, what are you going to do?
I'm going to go with Steve to provide backup. I don't know what this dynamic is. It's weird, it's unusual, but I care about Steve now.
Okay, I'm into it. Fantastic. Would you all like to answer a question at this point?
Like, technically speaking, I still like have a free floating clue, so like I
Oh, you
can put it
do?
towards house on Escondido to like get it up to a flat roll, but like
Alternatively, if you do that and we answer it and we get it correct, we can just go there to burn the house down because it's evil.
there's a thing I want from the house.
I know
but we
you
haven't
do.
done-
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We can wait a little bit on that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. I'm totally fine with
yeah.
that. I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. I don't think we have any unresolved key prompts, do we?
Mm-mm.
In which case, the Odyssey tape. Happy Jack 06 duress signal, pure white pretext. This tape is an episode of Happy Jack the Lumberjack and Friends, a children's show that aired on TV Odyssey. The episode opens on a scene where Happy Jack, a crude wooden puppet wearing a flannel shirt and knit cap, a plastic axe taped to his hand, is comforting his friend Lucy, who is portrayed by a crying 12-year-old girl. Everyone will do prompt 1. Prompt 2 will be chaotic. Prompt 3 will be prompt 3 will be Alex, and prompt 4 will be Amanda. We'll take a 10-minute break. We'll come back and do the night phase. Happy Jack 06 duress signal, pure white pretext. The episode is supposed to be taking place in the forest where Happy Jack works, but the set appears to be someone's poorly decorated basement. What do we see in the background that would be out of place in a real-world forest?
In the background, sort of blended in poorly with the trees, you can see that one of the walls is just wood paneling.
There is carpeted floors. Every so often, like the camera would like sort of like get bumped a little and shift downwards, so like you could see like the orange, like shaggy carpet.
There is playing in the background, aside from the happy, jaunty music that cranks out a little disharmoniously, a hum, a soft mechanical whirring sound that just rattles and shakes like a nasty cough at times. And occasionally, when the camera is moving across the forest, you can see behind the cutout trees and shrubberies the poorly disguised generators that keep various things running, but loudly.
Let's talk about Loon Cabin, which is, I don't think you're necessarily there anymore, Katie, but the kids are all there. Which this is where they're watching this tape, which was not originally what they were supposed to be watching. They were going to be watching Goonies. There are wooden bunk beds built into the cabin walls, crumpled up sleeping bags in pinks, purples, and reds, hair care sets, and fingernail polish strewn about. There is, of course, this old TV and VCR on the rolling stand that the kids are crowded around. Paint the scene. Jessica supposedly slept in Loon Cabin. How do the girls currently staying here, and Daniel, show that they would rather be sleeping anywhere else?
They've blocked off the windows and the doors. They've put a chair under the door or the door handle so that the door can't be opened from the outside. Not because, they're doing something secret, but because they're literally afraid that something outside is going to get in at them.
I think everything is practical, that none of the kids have like stuck up the stickers on their bunks and whatnot that would be a pain at the end of the year to like clean on up. It's all, everything that is out is what's necessary to just be sleeping here.
And even that is really pushing it, because even the blankets and pillows on here have clearly been like swapped out, like at like laundry day. Like they have like the most uncomfortable stuff, and like the dirtier ones, they're kind of kept on these beds. The kids aren't really sleeping here. Like they aren't really using it effectively. Wherever they're finding comfort, they don't particularly care to have their beds tended to afterwards.
Speaking of beds and kids, Michael and Stephen, you are in this dark hallway in 18 Escondido Street. Straight ahead is a door that leads to the master bedroom of the house, and then to your left and to your right are the kids' rooms. Elliot to the left, Abigail to the right. What do you do?
Car came out that door there. So,
Mhm.
okay. I take point there. Simultaneously, you break to the other door across. Make sure that no one's hiding here about to jump out through the hallway.
Do you have a flashlight?
Don't need one. Nudson's got
Or
perfect 20/20.
people can't see in the dark though, even with 20. You
Far
know what?
north
I'm
of-
not got.
Yeah. You ever been up to the far north of Minnesota? Sometimes
No.
those winters, dark. Yeah. So trust me, I can see.
Michael's not going to argue with Steve about being able to see in the dark, so I'll go off to Abigail's room, I assume.
Sounds good. Back to the tape. Happy Jack explains that Lucy is sad because her parents abandoned her in the forest. What did Lucy do to make her parents stop loving her?
God. Now you see, Lucy, you have been such a disappointment to your parents. You didn't listen to what they told you to do. You didn't do your homework. And even when they forced you to do it, you did everything so badly, Lucy. This is why they don't love you anymore. This is why they left you out here.
Katie, Joey is with you, and he says, "So what are we looking for out here?" You can hear your footsteps crunching in the, in the grass, nighttime.
Just anything weird.
Okay. Wait. What about that over there? And you do see something, some kind of dark shape, silhouetted a little bit in the moonlight, over by the water's edge. It's unclear exactly what it is. What do you do?
I'm going to get the camera out and ready.
Nice. He says, "So, what do we do if we see it?"
We're going to take its picture.
Okay, but then what?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what it does.
What if it runs toward us?
Then we run away.
Okay. It's probably just like some kind of mountain lion or something.
Well, in that case, we can get closer to it. It'll be fine.
I'm not getting close to a mountain lion.
We don't have to. We're not going to bother it. We just want to see what it's doing. It's probably more afraid of us than we are of it.
What if it's a giant moth?
Why does everyone think things are giant moths?
Abigail's room. Has My Little Pony wallpaper, a twin bed with pink Power Ranger sheets. There is still the very faint smell of strawberry scented plastic. Paint the scene as we wave the flashlight around. How do we know that Abigail's friends were the most important thing to her? After family, of course.
I think there is a little like music box jewelry box that's left on the dresser that has a variety of friendship bracelets that she would swap out because like they kept on making so many for each other that they can't wear them all at once. Uh I think Abigail's parents just said you can only wear one of them at a time, Abigail. Can't have your like a whole arm's worth of it.
On the small vanity in her room, the mirror, it is covered with pictures of her friends, just different Polaroids and snapshots. There's a small area where the mirror is still visible, but it won't even show a full face.
There's some like fairy lights that have been like draped up against one blank wall by her bed, where seemingly as an approved art project by her parents have written the words "friendship is forever."
I love it. Elliot's room has a twin bed with Ninja Turtle sheets, a large poster of Bill Nye the Science Guy, faded but clearly visible. And there are Matchbox cars spread on the floor like caltrops. You don't see them, but you do feel them underneath your shoes as you walk in, Steve Knudsen.
Yeah, fuck. Ow. Shit, that's fuck. Sharp. Oh, God damn it.
From the other side of the sliding closet door, you hear let's go back to the tape.
Now, Lucy, it's not really all the blame to be placed on you. After all, it's the parents' job to love their children, even when they misbehave or act ungrateful. So that's why we want to make sure that your parents know just how bad they've been.
And a little hand puppet felt squirrel perches up on a nearby log, twitching a little bit, dancing back and forth. Happy Jack says, "Why, look,
It's our pal, Sylvester the Squirrel. How are you doing today, Sylvester? Just another day going nuts for nuts.
Happy Jack turns to Lucy and says, deep down inside all of your parents, there's a little bit of love, and you need to make sure that when love isn't properly shown, it needs to be taken out. People need to know what they're missing in order to stop neglecting it. So, pulls out a little tiny like mini like hedge cutter. Like a buzz. Well, it's a little hedge cutter, but it, in his hands like a chainsaw. What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to dig around inside until you find the love, like this. And when it cuts, it's no longer a little felt puppet squirrel, but actually the dead carcass of a real squirrel that, on camera, gets to be poked and prodded with this hedge cutter.
Is there a flash on that camera?
I don't know. I've never used one of these before.
Well, I think there is. Just like yeah. Okay, so just just try to take a picture, and maybe the flash will let us see what you're taking a picture
I know
of.
how to take a picture, Joey.
Okay, well, all right. We should have brought flashlights.
Well, then we'd be even more visible. Come on, just get down, be quiet.
Are you going to try to take a picture?
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture. Click.
Go ahead and make the meddling move with composure. You can mark the camera if you want to.
I do want to.
Get advantage.
Composure with advantage. That's a 13.
Nice. The 12 plus result in Skinny Jeans edition of meddling move is always you find an Odyssey tape.
Nice. Yes.
You flash. And you don't see a creature at all. You see a man. A big, huge man. And he's approaching you. And I think you just instinctively take more pictures. And he's getting bigger and bigger as he gets closer and closer each time you flash the camera. Joey says, I think we should get out of here. I think we should get out of here. We need to go. We need to go. Michael, what do you do in Abigail's room?
Well, surprisingly, there's not much of a haunting happening currently, so perhaps this is not where the ghost has been lingering. So I think I'm just looking around, just checking to see what Abigail was potentially doing in her last days in this house. And I think I just take a pocket full of friendship bracelets.
I love that. Go ahead and make the meddling move with composure. I think because of the darkness, I'm going to put you at disadvantage, though.
Still don't have anything I can use in a corner of the house. I did do research at home. God, that's terrible. That's a 4.
Ooh. You're looking around, moving the flashlight around. You move the flashlight up, and you see Patient's head on the ceiling of Abigail's bedroom, crawling on it like a spider, her head dipped down, looking at you. I've got my eyes on you. let's go back to Steve, who's unaware of that. Steve, you hear this strange breathing coming from the closet door in Elliot's room. What do you do?
Switchblade out, and just very slowly approaching the closet, eyes wide with fear and trepidation. But he's gonna throw open the closet door.
You don't see anything in the closet other than just old clothes and stacks of games and shoes and things like that. But I do want to paint the scene now. Something about the energy in this room changes when you open that closet door. What do we see or otherwise experience that makes us think Elliot is still in the house somewhere?
Because Steve can't actually see shit, when he opens the closet and just sees like some like hanging stuff, like some like just objects, mistakes it for a person in the dark and stabs into the closet with his switchblade, like yelling a little bit. But when his eyes do adjust a little bit, he just stabbed some like, 10-year-old shirts that are like in the closet. But one of them starts to bleed.
Oh, yes. Make the night move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Elliot's gonna, or whatever force is going to enact retribution for stabbing it.
Yes, it's worse than that. You end up in the closet.
Well, we might already be there.
Forever. Go ahead and roll with sensitivity. And let me take a look at your conditions as well.
Mhm.
I'm not going to invoke your conditions yet.
Okay, so roll flat. Oh boy. Here we go. -1. That's a 6.
That's a 6. Things are not looking great in 18 Escondido Street. Katie Wright, or Amanda, please finish the tape.
The screen goes dark and fades to black. The audio is still going. We hear Happy Jack say, "Goodbye. Good luck." Lucy, we can hear her footsteps crunching through the debris and the leaves, and the woods and the sticks and the twigs in the forest. We hear now her feet clicking on the pavement as she walks up a sidewalk. We hear the sound, squeaky hinges of a door, soft padding on carpet. We hear the hinges of another door, quiet room. We hear Lucy say, "Hi, Mommy," and the grunts of a person being woken up from sleep. "Lucy, what are you?" We hear the boom sound of the hedge trimmer. And Lucy say, "Let's see how much you love me."
Oh boy, Katie. Standing before you and Joey Keene is this man I described in the previous scene, except he's standing now, and he towers over you both. Like you both, your heads barely go up to his chest. And he's so wide, he blocks out the moonlight. And so you're just standing in his shadow. And he says, "Since I have failed to dissuade you and your friends from your Sisyphean task, let me at least be of some assistance." And he hands over the purple clamshell Odyssey tape. The label says, "Astral 09 Pyramid Passage Pure White Contact." And then, before you realize it, you're just standing there with Joey and the tape and the moon and nothing else. Michael Schroeder. This is the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now?
I am going to be sprung on by whatever ghost is possessing Miss Head, and it's going to be a fight.
It's worse than that. She's going to come down and she is going to rake your face off. Please, unless you, well, I mean, you can run away right now and leave Steve to his fate.
I am not leaving Steve behind.
Then you are going to have to roll the night move with sensitivity. And because of Haunted, I'm putting you at disadvantage.
Again, I don't have anything. I need to start stealing stuff. Okay. Fuck, if it wasn't a sensitivity, that's a 6.
Patient's head scrambles across the ceiling, and before you can escape, she slams the door closed. Steve, when you hear the door slammed, you turn just long enough for something in the closet to grab you and pull you in, and the closet doors slam closed. Patience has you. She has lifted you up past the frame of the door. You are kicking and struggling. Your fists are beating against the wall, and she has dug in her nails underneath your chin, and she's letting the weight of your body pull your face off of your skull. And we just hear the ripping and the sloughing and the ripping and the screaming as you fall down. And then we just hear Patience chomping up in the ceiling in the darkness of Abigail's room.
As amazing as that description was, I'm going to turn a key.
Very well. Just I'm gonna let you escape, but you're gonna escape. I'm gonna make you drop something on the way out, though. Well, you don't really have anything that would make any sense to drop.
This is why I can't roll with the flat.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make
chase
any sense. I'll just let you. You're turning a key. It's good enough for you just to turn your key.
I think the consequences, I don't get to help Steve out.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it is. Yeah. So Steve, what are you going to turn a key, or are you disappearing into the closet?
Well, I'd love to hear following that.
Very well.
I'd like to hear what you're going to say.
Very well. You get pulled into the closet, and you find yourself in another one of those long, dark hallways. You feel something, or you hear something roll and tap against your shoe. It's a Matchbox car. And you see at the far end of the hallway a little boy in a blue Power Ranger costume. He looks up at you, and he gets up, and he walks to you, and he holds out his hand. You take it, and he just guides you down the hall to play with him forever.
Well, that makes a really good moment to mark the Sandstone Arch.
Fantastic. So you're marking the Sandstone Arch. Michael, are you marking Key of the Past, or Key of the Child, or Key of the Desolation?
I am marking the key, the Fathomless Well key.
Oh, Fathomless Well. Very well. Then this concludes our night phase. Instead, Steve, you turn and you realize that there was nothing. You weren't stabbing anything. There's nothing. You were just imagining that. I am going to give you the haunted condition, though. But you're okay otherwise. And that will conclude. That will conclude our night phase. Let's head over to the dawn. Answering dawn questions. Actually, no, before we do that, let's define a clue, an Odyssey clue from the tape.
And I'm curious, does the special TV thing trigger?
Oh, yes. The special TV
Because that might be
thing.
bad for me and
That
Michael.
will be for next time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. For now, I just want to hear if there is do we think there's well, we know there has to be an Odyssey clue defined from the events of the tape. I think basements are really interesting, especially because of the events of the day phase in the house. But anyway, thoughts?
What do y'all think? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, like I definitely think that basements are like a sort of a temporal space.
Like a liminal
because,
space,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, because like from what it sounded like at the end of the tape, it sounded like Lucy was in an actual forest rather than this carpeted basement. So it just seems like Lucy went out in the woods and ended up in a basement.
I like the idea. I want to combine that with something because I was really affected by Amanda's conclusion to the tape, which is maybe looking into it further. Like there is like noted like disappearance of like a girl named Lucy and her two parents. All that was found in their bedroom, in addition to blood, was just a lot of dirt, like from the forest floor, loamy dirt.
So what's the clue?
It's just the mysterious disappearance of Lucy and her parents.
More
or the murder.
disappearances.
Oh, interesting.
Like it connects to like an actual like unsolved case.
Oh, intriguing.
Maybe
Amanda, any thoughts?
just to add to that, maybe it's actually referencing to a lot of disappearances. I mean, we have a disappearance of children at Deep Lake. We have disappearance of Elliot and his family. We have this disappearance of Lucy. If that we're going to make that like a canon thing.
Mhm.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to tie that into basements somehow.
No, I agree. The basements thing is really
The basements
cool.
feel important. Yeah.
Every time there's been a disappearance like this, there's been, let's say, loamy dirt found in the basement.
Oh my God, like the idea that the Happy Jack set may have like appeared in all of these basements.
Yeah.
Oh, creepy.
Because it could have just sounded like Lucy was walking outside. She might have just been walking across a cement floor basement.
Every familial disappearance in Deep Lake over the last like however many years, they're only with families that have basements, and all of those basements like had just a bunch of random dirt found in them afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm into this. Yeah.
Because if I recall correctly, houses in that area, they don't usually have basements.
They generally don't have basements.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
It's really weird. Well, I'm not convinced Escondido Street has one. I think that was just a weird like hallucination or something. So though there were some clues there. So yeah, I think this idea of basements as liminal spaces is really interesting to me.
Supernatural basements in Deep Lake.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's the okay. So that's the clue. Then we have this like this basement situation.
Oh wait, no, I got one. Hold on, I think a way to better like to make it more like rooted in what we just saw. We noticed this on the tape. Wait a second, that decorated basement set, that is the basement from Escondido Street.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, interesting. And the big man said something about the void, so he kind of like seems to like believe that. So there's some kind of connection here. This basement,
the Escondido basement, may actually be just like a fucking liminal pocket dimension. Who knows?
Yeah, or just this basement.
This basement.
Right.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Okay, good clue.
Let's
go to these questions. Katie, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past? Oh, you're talking about the lake. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you cut loose for once?
Went out
Oh, with
with this
Joey.
guy.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Joey. Yeah, definitely. Steve, did you receive a signal from the other side?
I did not get to set one up before I marked the. Yeah, I did not think of setting one up yet.
Did
so
you
no.
cut loose for once?
I would count actively like say like doing illegal things and lying about
Oh,
those
that's
actions of
true. Yeah,
patience
because what we know
was-
about you. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
I unless going back to the house at night to do it would count, but
I
no.
don't think it's
Yeah,
quite the
I think
same
it's just the
thing.
one. Yeah.
Michael, did you receive a signal from the other side?
Yes, I was talking about in the Odyssey tape about doing homework that echoed my Key of the Child earlier in the
Oh,
session.
yeah, yeah. I also thought that like what you had to say like really kind of reflected like Daniel's parents as well, because Daniel has this like kind of like
Mhm.
do his parents actually love him, or he's kind of like sad about the way his parents treat him, kind of. Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
No, for the same reasons that Steve did not get that question, because I've been with Steve the entire day.
Were
For
you
the most part.
vulnerable with someone?
With
May-
Katie.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm so annoyed by Steve.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, you were. Yeah, I think that counts.
Mhm.
Fantastic. You can mark new dawn questions if you wish. And I don't think we have any unresolved key prompts, do we? Because everyone did Key of Desolation. And so we will wrap the session back in the desert, looking at that TV in the middle of the desert. The TV on the media stand. Maybe the same TV and media stand that was currently, or that was in Loon Cabin. I don't know. But on this TV, we see two things. First, we see an image of the lake. We see someone wading into the lake. We can't tell who it is, but they clearly have something in their arms, and they let it go. They let it sink to the bottom. And then the jerky camera jerks up to look into the sky, and we see the moon in the sky. And then it settles back down, and we see the big man in front of his little table, laying out tarot cards like we saw him last time. He lays out in his spread the moon. I recently beheld a red moon. It was blood red, like a bullet hole in the sky. And then I looked all around me, and I saw dead things in the earth rising up to witness this bloody moon, or perhaps to worship it. And the veil between worlds, between different realities, between different dimensions, between the lands of the living and the dead, was as thin as I'd ever seen it. It was gossamer, it was mist. I could press my finger into it and feel its feverish yielding. But the red moon was neither cause nor symptom. It was an augur. The TV turns off, and we are going to Stars and Wishes. Whoever wants to go first, please do.
This session had so many really great horror moments in it. Like the whole bit with Steve and Michael going down the hallway the never ending hallway and figure out who's going to go first, and the flashlight bits, like all of this would happen in a horror movie because you watch it and you're like, don't go down that hallway. Have you never seen a horror movie? And it was just so well done. And I loved the interaction between Steve and Michael for that whole bit. The no, you go first, no, you go first, and then I'm gonna go first, and then I'm gonna go first. Like it felt really appropriate for these characters, and it really I felt like I learned a lot about these people as people in just those moments. I thought that was really fantastic. And then of course the whole interaction with the big man, thought that was it was just it was so much fun when the characters get to talk to the big man. It's a lot of fun. Same with the night phase at the Deep Lake, with the part where the big man is coming closer and closer and closer as the pictures drop. You can kind of see it. Like when you watch those movies, you think, just run. Why are you still standing there taking pictures? But it makes perfect sense for Katie to stand there and be sort of frozen in the moment to take these pictures. So I really love that. And I love the interaction with the big man there. I really was hoping the Deep Lake Lurker would eat Joey, but there's still time for that. Uh, but yeah, this whole session, I think all the character interactions were a huge star for me, with the NPCs and Daniel Quan, of course. Love Daniel Quan. Yeah, everything was great. Big stars.
The hallway sequence was a very good first appearance of the big man in terms of like interacting with us as Latchkeys. I don't know how I didn't clock the cigarette smoke as a herald of the big man, but it was genuinely a very surreal moment to have him appear. So well done. I caught that you had taken a quote of the Dapper Boy from The Between and gave it to Patient's head.
I did.
About my goat, my goat is not so easily gotten.
I used it in the +1 XP stream.
Yeah,
this
it's
week
really
too.
good. It's really, I mean, it fits her perfectly. I just caught that and I thought that was fun. Yeah, everyone's prompt, specifically Amanda's on the Odyssey tape, horrifying. Loved that though. Loved having some what's the parental murder? I don't know what patricide, matricide and patricide. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was great. Oh God, the footsie under the water moment was genuinely, that's one of my favorite tropes for this kind of thing. It's just being like, it's like something's tickling you under the water. Oh, it was so good. Love Daniel Quan. What a special, very autistic little boy, and we love him. Yeah, just it was a lot of fun, and I really liked the dichotomy of scenes between what was happening at Escondido and what Katie was getting up to. Very fun. And wish-wise, I'm also very intrigued to see what this dynamic between Michael and Steve is gonna be. I'm excited for whatever our next mystery is gonna be. And things are bad, and I love the tension that the Skinny Jeans edition is so far bringing to the fore. So just more of that.
Oh my God, Jason, the Skinny Jeans is so brutal. Like you can effectively just like clear one condition per like cycle, and that's just really rough. I'm so scared. But yeah, again, like I just love the scene with the big man of just like, he didn't feel threatening at first, but then like towards the end with like the sharp teeth, you realize, oh no, we have to get out of here. But like I'm too curious to just remain here and just question him. It's just like, it's just a weird thing. And like again, God, Steve, your scene with Miss Head, I'm just like, oh God, Steve, please don't say anything more. Like you're not like a deputy of the police department. Don't say that. We're gonna get in trouble for that. I'd rather not get the police involved. Katie, I love the scene with Daniel Qual. No, Daniel Quan. Daniel Quan is someone else. uh Daniel Quan, I'm gonna teach you self-defense so you can beat up your bullies, and you're like, this is an 8-year-old kid. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's getting bullied by 10 to 12-year-olds.
Now he won't be.
They've got easily like several inches on him, so like I don't like the kid is going to get beaten up and potentially kicked out of summer camp, and then we have to take him in. Like I can't leave this child by himself. I love him.
He might have been. He might be having an allergic reaction to pizza. He wasn't, but yeah. Stars, I really, I had so much fun with just the horror genre tropes this session. It was really, really fun. Deep Lake Lurker and Escondido Street especially are the two like kind of classic horror genre mysteries, at least in the core mysteries, and it was really fun. Loved the whole like flirtation thing between Joey Keane and Katie. That was really, really enjoyable, and I kind of like their whole little Scooby-Doo thing they had going on. Also just, I just got really enjoyed playing out this like kind of like weird scene under the water, and like the more you learn about that scene later, like from Joey, it like just becomes even extra creepy and weird. Really, really dug the dynamic between Michael and Steve this session. It was fun to see them having their kind of Scooby-Doo moment, although under slightly more trying circumstances than Katie and Joey. Just good fun. Really had fun tormenting those characters in Escondido Street. I always love playing Patience Head. She's great fun, and Daniel. Just a good time all around. As for like the Skinny Jeans edition, I do feel like it's significantly more high pressure, and it actually and it also feels like I think it's achieving the goal of keeping TV Odyssey front and center. Like TV Odyssey feels really central to it, which is great. And I think that's only going to increase as we get more of these like Odyssey style clues and get closer to like what does it all mean, right? And so and I'll be interested to see if you all manage to get a 12 plus on one of these questions. That makes the answer an Odyssey clue as well. And so I'll be curious to see if that part of the game, like how your answers to the other mysteries can kind of hook into the TV Odyssey. That's the part I'm really intrigued in to see how that works.
I will add a quick note on that because I love that addition, and the thing I'm looking forward to is like that feels like it's going to be much more of like adding like tactical weight to us deciding whether or not we're going to bump up results, because it's like if we're like, oh, we know that like we're like one tape away from like this happening, and it's like, oh God, we don't have we could get some more Odyssey clues.
We need more Odyssey
might be
clues,
worth spending the keys to so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm also thinking that like I think that like I thought it was really bold of you all for two of you to choose Mask of Desolation for your key turning, because I can't remember what I made the rule for this edition, but like I was at one point considering to making it to where if you were going to bump up answer a question, you had to turn Key of Desolation, right? In which case that would be really, really like that would push the characters towards a chromatic desert pretty quickly. I haven't decided yet if that's going to be the case or not, but I may not have to, just because like the pressure is already so high because you have to do Key of the Child every time you transition layers. So, but yeah, the pressure definitely feels on, and like there is like, and you can see the sort of like strategic aspect of it coming into the foreground, or like you can see where it would come from, because you may have to make a go at the Odyssey question before you're really ready, right? You may have to, but you got to get at least 4 to have a go at it. So, and that would be a really hard answer a question, but you could do it theoretically. So, yeah, it's interesting. I like how all that's kind of fitting together. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
like from a player perspective, like one of the reasons I went for Key of Desolation was because of like I know I need so many keys of the child for
Yes,
the,
because
the, the
you're
layers.
gonna need a few for the
And
layers,
also,
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna unlock the extra XP prompt now, so I
Yeah.
can begin to like
Get it.
also get more moves and unlock my items and to get
Yeah, it's definitely that's much more of a like but there's just a little bit more like tactical pressure on things, and so I think that's great. I don't think I have anything else though. I'm just my wish is just I'm really enjoying the story outside of the playtest. I'm just really liking this campaign of public access. It's a lot of fun. So I hope we get to, and I think what's making it fun is we're learning so much more about the characters so much quicker, which is really enjoyable. So I don't think I have anything else though. Anything else before we go? All right. Well, I'm gonna wave goodbye to folks watching the video.